application of the course materials. So we're going to start off with focusing on our deep breathing to make sure that we're getting enough airflow for our practice and making sure that the oxygen is really stimulating the blood vessels. We want to make sure that we're taking deep inhales and really forceful exhales. You should really be able to hear yourself breathing. So if you are not sure if you are doing this or not, I want you to take one hand and place it on your chest, and the other hand place it on your stomach. As you inhale, your top hand, the one on your chest, should move outward, and your bottom hand on your stomach should move inward. You should really feel your lungs expanding and lengthening up the spine into your chest. So take a deep breath in. Really notice how the ribs lift up off the stomach, and exhale. The rib cage comes back down, diaphragm is at a normal state. So one more time, breathe in. Really lift those rib cages up off the stomach. Diaphragm is nice and high. And as you exhale, go back to normal. Wonderful. So, to get started, we're going to do Namasakra, which is sun salutation. We're going to start standing. So come up to the front of your mat with your feet together. We're going to take a deep breath in, remembering that same breathing pattern that we did before. Then you're going to bring the hands up and above, breathing in. As you exhale, bend at the waist backwards. Exhale, really pulling in those abs all the way down into a forward bend. You want to bring your forehead as close to your knees as possible. Breathe in and align your spine by coming halfway up, making sure the line from the top of your head to the base of your spine is one straight line. Then exhale back down into the forward bend. Make sure that those hands are planted firmly on the floor. And as you exhale, jump back into plank position. Make sure that spine is straight. Bend at the knees and the elbows. Inhaling up to upward dog. Make sure that you're up on your toes for this. I know it's kind of hard to see right now, but my legs and my chest, my whole body except for my toes and my hands are up off the floor. Looking up towards the ceiling. I'm going to inhale into downward dog. If this is uncomfortable for you, or you have tight hamstrings and calves, you may pedal out the legs, which looks a little something like this. You're going to bend one knee, really pushing that back heel into the ground, and then switching out. Whichever heel is up, or the knee is bent, the other heel is being pushed towards the ground. You can continue to do this. And once you feel comfortable, you can bring the heels straight down onto the ground. Really make sure that your core is pulled in tight and those shoulders are extended evenly, pressing the buttocks up towards the ceiling. As you inhale, you may walk or hop your feet towards your hands into a forward bend. Exhale. Inhale to straighten. And exhale down. Inhale all the way up. And exhale while you bring your hands down to heart center. Wonderful. So that is sun salutation. We're going to move on now to a series of standing positions to help increase balance and strength in the legs and the core. So from here, we're going to get into warrior pose. You need a pretty big stance for this. Make sure that those heels are aligned The back foot should be pointing out where the rest of your body is, while your front foot, whichever way you're going to bend first, those toes are going to turn out towards the side wall. Now, it's very important in this position to keep the abs pulled in. You want to keep breathing and you want to focus on that balance, okay? All of your weight should be placed mostly on that front foot, evenly distributed between the balls of your feet and the heel. The back leg is primarily for stability. So, you're going to breathe in and bring the arms up to your side, straight. You're going to look over your right hand because that's the direction we're going to be bending. Breathe in and really activate that core, lifting the rib cage up. And as you exhale, bend that right knee all the way down and hold. Find a place on the wall that you can focus on. This will help you keep your balance. Make sure that that knee does not go past the toes or past the heel. You'll do damage to your ankle in that respect. From this position, we're going to transition into what we call triangle pose. So you're going to inhale, activate that core again. And as you exhale, you're going to straighten the knee, keeping the arms straight, bending at the waist, all the way down to the floor. If you cannot bring your arm down to the floor, you can lift and use your ankle. Just like that. Just make sure that your back is straight, your arms are straight, you have that straight line from the top of your head to the base of your spine. Find a place on the ceiling that you can focus on. It'll help keep your balance. Don't forget to breathe. On your next exhale, you're going to go ahead and bring that back arm all the way down and bend that front knee. Rotate the back leg out. This right foot should be a good diagonal. Make sure that you're aligned and you can drop that back knee and point the toes. Now, it might be hard to see my back foot in this video, but my toes are pointed. From here, you can either stay in this position, you can bring your right hand up to the right knee, or if you need a little bit more, you can even sit completely up, putting some weight on this knee, bending the back leg and holding. This is going to give you a little bit more of a stretch in this area. Focus on that balance. Again, finding a position on the wall that you can focus on will help. Go ahead and drop that back leg. Bring your hands out forward just a little bit. If you need to, you can plant the back toes to give you support. You're going to thread that right foot underneath the arms and drop the knee to the ground. Make sure at this point that your back foot is pointed and flat on the ground. You're going to hold here into what we call pigeon pose. If you desire a deeper stretch, you can also bring it up back, that back leg. For those that are not as advanced, you can stay here. If you do desire a deeper position but can't quite get the back leg, you can come down to the forearms. The important part of all of this is to keep that straight line with your back. So you don't want the head to tip down and you don't want it super high. You want it to be straight. Now that you've got a pretty decent stretch here, go ahead and tuck those back toes, lift your body up off the ground just a little bit, and rotate that bent knee directly under the body. Can't see, it's still straight. You can point the back toes, and then just allow your body weight to kind of fall over that knee. Because of the deepness of a stretch in pigeon pose, it's very easy for the hip flexors to become strained. or really stressed. So it's good to have some recovery time for them. This is almost like a half child's position. It allows you to have that body weight, massage the hip flexors, really get the blood circulating without having to completely come out of the position. So from here, go ahead and lift back up off the ground. Plant those hands firmly on the ground, about shoulder width apart. Because from here, on your inhale, you're gonna tuck the toes and bring that bent knee up and under into downward dog. So breathe in, really activate that core, lift the back leg, and lift into downward dog. Again, if you need to pedal out the legs, please feel free to do so. Once you get settled in the position, really focus on your breathing. Because this is a forward bending pose, it is great for digestion, really helps circulate all those organs, but an added bonus, it is great for your sinuses. It helps drain, really get all those toxins out of the system. From here, you're going to walk your feet up towards your hands into a forward bend. If you need to bend the legs a little bit, you can. If your hamstrings are just way too tight, that is perfectly fine. If you can, straighten them. Exhale into the forward bend. Inhale halfway up to realign the spine. And then exhale back down into the forward bend. When you inhale, come all the way up. We're going to do the same thing that we had done before on the other side. So this time, you're going to get that wide stance. But this time, your right leg is going to stay pointing the direction your body is facing, and your left foot is going to be pointing the side wall. Readjust so you can see that front foot just a little bit better. You again want a wide stance so you can see that those ankles are aligned as if somebody had taken a tape across the two. Same thing, you're going to inhale, really bring that rib cage up off the diaphragm, and bring the arms up. Straight line, find a place on the wall. Left hand side, because that's the way you're going to be bending. Inhale and exhale, bend down. Paying careful attention that that knee is not going past the tip of the toes or past the heel so that you do not do ankle damage. Back leg is for stability, front leg is for support. You're building strength in your quads on that left leg right now. And in the core, because the whole time you want to keep that core tight. Pull the belly button into the back of the spine. But don't forget to breathe. From here, you're going to inhale, activate that core, and as you exhale, straighten that bent knee and bend at the waist all the way down into triangle pose. You'll want to look up towards the ceiling over your right shoulder. Find a place on the ceiling to help you hold your balance. On your exhale, go ahead and bring the arm down to your side and bend that outer knee. Go ahead and turn that back foot and lower the buttocks down, bending the knee and pointing the toes. Make sure that that left foot is at a diagonal. This will help rotate the hip joint out just a little bit so that you can get a little bit deeper stretch. Again, you can lift for a little bit deeper stretch, more advanced, and then bring the back leg up. But you can also stay here. It's good to hold each pose for about 10 to 15 breaths. Focus on your breathing. Really make sure that back is straight. You got that straight line going from the top of your head to the bottom of your spine. So you're going to go ahead and thread that foot underneath the arms and drop the knee. Your hips should be straight. Best illustration is if you're driving a car and you have both hands on the wheel, you're never going to have one hand this way and one hand this way. They're going to be equal. So it's the same kind of thing with your hips. You want them to be equally pressed towards the floor. Again, if you want a more intense position, you can bring the back leg up into king pigeon, okay? Otherwise, you can drop to the forearms, which is going to rotate your stretch a little bit more towards the front of your hip, taking less of the pressure off of your back leg. If you have problems with your hips and you need to modify, you can always place a towel under your hips so that you don't have to feel like your body is collapsing more towards the floor. Remember to take this as fast or as slow as you feel comfortable. Stretching is good, but if you feel pain, then that's usually a bad sign. So you want to stop and slowly get out of the position. Go ahead and tuck those back toes, lift your body weight up, and rotate that knee underneath your body. You want to come back down on the forearms so that you get as much as your body weight as possible on that hip joint. Again, this helps massage that hip flexor and really get the blood circulating so that that muscle has a little bit of recovery time in between intensive stretches. From there, you're going to come up on your hands, tuck the back toes, but instead of going into downward dog this time, we're going to just bring the legs back into what we call child's pose. For this, you need your knees to be slightly wider than hip width, and your toes need to be pointed flat on the floor, touching but not overlapping, okay? You don't want them to overlap because that will really misalign your hips, thus your spine, thus your shoulders, and so on. So we want to try and keep the body as aligned as possible for your yoga practice. So again, knees a little bit wider than hip width apart. You'll kind of feel as you go down if that's comfortable or not. If you feel too much of a stretch, that it's painful, you can come back up, bring your knees in closer or wider, depending on how you feel you go. Everyone has different flexibility and ability to stretch certain areas of their body due to the way their bones are built. So from here, your arms are going to stay shoulder width apart. And inhale, pull that spine and belly button together like there's a magnet. And as you exhale, you're going to just lower down onto your ankles. Really make sure that butt comes all the way down, and then let those arms stretch out in front of you. If this is uncomfortable or you feel like you are not stable enough, you can bring the arms behind you and down on the ground like this. You can grab your ankles. Or you can just bring them down to your side. This is also going to circulate the blood in your hip flexors. This is considered a recovery pose because there's very little muscle action going on here. If you are pregnant, you can do this pose. What I would suggest is if you are pretty far far along that you take a towel and you fold it in thirds and you place it in between your legs so that your belly can rest on that. That way there's not so much pulling from the baby, okay? So this is a great position for lower back pain. If you have sciatica, this is also a great position because it allows that back to really relax, the lower back, and it really massages the hip area. If you do have sciatica, I apologize for the long explanation, but for those of you who don't, sciatica is a pinched nerve in the lower back, and it causes a shooting pain down one or both sides of the body. So in that, it's pulling those vertebrae apart, allowing that pinched nerve to breathe, thus helping the pain here decrease. And this position here that's happening is helping recover the muscle that might experience more pain in the long run. If bending down to all the way to the floor is uncomfortable, you may also keep your arms here. If you do choose to do this, just make sure that you have your elbows shoulder width apart and your arms flat on the floor. This will help keep that straight line. Again, with the head, straight line from the top of the head all the way down to the bottom of the spine. We're going to go ahead and come out of this pose. So breathe in and lift up. I'm going to move to the other side so you can see a little bit better the movement in the next position we're going to do. This is called cat-cow position. They typically are done together because of the breathing and the position. So we're going to start on all fours in tabletop, which it means that your knees and your legs flat on the floor. Your knees are going to be hip width apart and your arms are going to be shoulder width apart. So you resemble a table. You want to keep that spine straight, head and bottom of the tailbone, okay? When you breathe in, we're going to go into what we call cat. You're going to breathe in and pull that core all the way up and arch the back, just like a cat that's scared on Halloween, okay? So you're going to breathe in and pull and arch and hold. And as you exhale, you're going to go into cow, which is exact opposite, okay? You're going to push your spine inward like a U and your butt up towards the ceiling as well as your head. Whole time exhaling, and if you like, you can exhale very loudly. It'll help you kind of follow the same breathing ritual every time. So we're going to breathe in into cat and out into cow. Do a couple more of these. Breathe in and out. Once more, breathe in real deep and out. Great job. Kind of come back on your knees first, on your ankles for a second. Next, we're going to do some floor work that'll help with your hip flexors as well. People tend to carry a lot of stress in their lower back or in their shoulders, so we're going to do 2 or 3 things for each of those places. First one we're going to do is bound angel. So it's more commonly known as butterfly, but in Hatha yoga it is considered bound angel, okay? You want your butt to be on the floor, your hips even. You don't want to be sitting on one side or the other too much. You want them to be straight, flat on the floor. Bringing those heels and toes together as close to the inside of your legs as possible. If you can only get to here, perfectly fine. If you can only do it halfway, also fine. It is with your comfort level that you do these positions. Please do not try and do anything too fast or feel like you think you should do something but then you can't and it hurt yourself. Yoga is supposed to be a spiritual and physical relationship between the mind and body and the spirit. Okay, so you just take it as fast or slow as you like and try and get something more out of it than just a physical response. Yoga is great to be paired with meditation. As you notice, I have some music on in the background to kind of help with the mood, helps bring people back to their center, get those chakras realigned. So getting back to the yoga practice, we're going to be in bound angel. So I'm going to bring my heels in fairly far. You want them to be in as far as you can while maintaining a straight line, top of the head to the bottom of the spine. You want to imagine there's a string coming out of your head up to the universe, pulling, and the same string coming out of the bottom of your spine to the root of the ground, okay? Those are just so tight that you have to stay just super straight, okay? You can either hold on to your hands here. If you're pregnant, you may want to bring your arms back a little bit. If you do that, I would suggest that your hands stay facing like this on the floor and that you don't arch the back, but you keep it straight. That'll just allow a little extra room for your stomach. Another trick you can use is getting a towel, folding it 3 into thirds, and then placing it underneath your spine so that you're lifted up off the ground just a little bit. That'll allow a little bit more room between your stomach, the floor, and your pelvic area. So if you don't need any of those things, we can keep going here. I tend to like to put my hands in front of my feet, keeping that straight line. If you'd rather just hold this position with your hands back here, that is completely fine as well. For those of you who would like to try a little bit deeper stretch, you can put your hands on the floor next to your feet. Breathe in, really lift the diaphragm. And as you exhale, just kind of walk your hands forward, keeping that straight line. This will give you that forward bend with the knees stretched outward. You should feel most of your pull here in the groin area. And you're just going to hold this. Continue to breathe. Close your eyes. Listen to the music. Really focus on the areas of your body that has tension. And with every inhale, I want you to think about inhaling positive energy. And when you exhale, focus on those areas that might have stress. And then just exhale all that stress out of your body. Inhale positive, exhale the negative. On your next inhale, go ahead and walk those hands back up and exhale. From here, go ahead and extend those legs outward into a very large V. Going to keep the toes pointed up towards the ceiling. Okay. You're going to maintain that straight line again. Again, if you feel more comfortable keeping those hands pointed towards the front of your body with those with those toes straight up towards the ceiling, that's fine. Focus on your breathing. Close your eyes. Inhale positive, exhale negative. If you'd like a little deeper stretch in the groin area, place your hands on the ground, maintaining the straight line. Inhale, lift, and as you exhale, walk the hands forward. You can go as far as you feel comfortable in this position as long as you keep those toes up towards the ceiling. Some people like to hold on to their toes to make sure they stay, but it can be a little distracting, I've found. So you can go as deep or as far as feels comfortable for you. Remember to breathe. Every inhale, lift the rib cage up off the stomach. Every exhale, exhale, really push all that negative energy and negative air out of your system. You're going to inhale and walk those hands back up towards your body. We're going to do Bound Angel one more time. So bring the legs in and up towards the groin. Make sure those hips are flat on the ground. If your legs do not touch the floor, that is completely fine. Everybody has different bone shapes, so some people may be like this, some people may have them right up against the ground. As you can see, I'm somewhere in the middle. So everyone's different. Don't worry about having to meet a certain standard there. As long as you're getting a good stretch, you're having a good practice. So remember to keep that straight line with your body. Inhale and lift the chest up off the diaphragm. Exhale, walk those hands forward. You should notice that the more you do this, the deeper the stretch you get, a little bit farther you get down to the floor. Inhale, walk your hands back up. This time we're going to do the same leg positioning, but we're going to do something a little bit different with the arms. We're going to inhale, and I'm going to go to my left side, which would be your right. So I'm going to take my left hand, sweep it up and over to my right leg. But I'm just going to lay it on the floor because that's easiest for me. If you'd like, you can put it on your hip, wherever is more comfortable for you. You're going to try and maintain that straight line as always. That right arm, you're going to breathe in and bring it up. And as you exhale, bend to the left, up and over. You should feel most of your stretch here in the obliques. If you can grab your toe with that right arm to your left toes, that's wonderful. It might help you get a little bit deeper stretch. If you can't, don't worry about it. Just worry about maintaining that straight line and a healthy stretch from the bottom of the shoulder blade all the way down the obliques into the hip area. As you inhale, really activate the core. Be sure to lift with your abs and not your back. Bringing the arm up and over and down, exhaling. And we're going to do the same thing to the other direction. So the right hand is going to come down, left hand is going to come up and over. So you're going to breathe in, lift the arm, and exhale down onto the leg, reaching for the toes. Again, maintaining that healthy stretch from the bottom of the shoulder blades all the way down your obliques into your hip area. Remember to keep breathing. It's very important that the oxygen gets into the bloodstream so that you can circulate properly. As you inhale, activate the core, lift with your abs, not your back. Bring the arm up and over. Exhale down. Good job, guys. All right, we only have a few more minutes left, so I'd like to do a couple more basic stretches with you. It's important that we maintain a consistent flow with our yoga practice. I know I'm doing a lot of talking, but I think it's very important for you to understand what your yoga positions are doing for your body, because this is a healthy practice for your systems, your mind, your body, your muscles, your skeletal system. It's all fantastic. So the next position I would like to do is a squatting pose, and it's gonna going to start in standing. So join me at the top of your mat. For this, you want your feet to be about hip width apart. Okay? You want those toes to be facing straight out forward. You don't want them turned in or turned out, or you will do damage to your knee or your hips. Keep the toes straight out. You're going to really focus on that breathing. So breathe in and lift, and exhale out. All right, good job. So from here, you're going to inhale, activate the core, and as you exhale, you're going to bend your body as if you're sitting in a chair, bending at the knees, pushing the buttocks out. Then turn to the side so that you can see this a little bit easier. You breathe in, activate the core, exhale, bending at the knees and the waist. You can bring the arms out for stability. You're going to keep bending all the way down to the floor. Your heels should be flat on the floor, as well as your toes. You should not be up on your toes or back on your heels too far. You can keep the arms out for stability, or if you like, you can bring them here. This is going to build strength in your shins and your calves. Remember to keep that straight line, top of the head, bottom of the spine. To get out of this position, you're going to inhale, activate that core so that it's tight and you're lifting with your abs rather than your back. You're going to push your weight into your heels. Inhale and lift slowly as possible. This is where you build your strength all the way up to standing position. Okay? Good job. So now I'd like to do mountain pose with you. This is a restorative posture because the muscles do not have to move a lot to get into this position. You want your legs to be straight, feet flat on the floor, hip width apart or right next to each other. It's wherever it feels comfortable for you. Your hands are just going to be at your side, okay? Now those of you who are familiar with chakras, you know that there's a chakra at the base of our feet. This is a foot chakra. With that same line illustration that I shared earlier, strain coming out the top of your head up to the universe and down through your feet this time, okay? And it's really pulling and you're just straight as a board. Keeping your hands at your side, you're going to focus on your breathing and feel that energy coming down from the universe all the way through your chakras, down into the earth, and back into the earth, up through your chakras, all the way through and out your crown chakra, which is at the top of your head, up towards the universe. Feel that connection between the universe and the earth. Holding those hands at the side, don't forget to breathe. You may leave your eyes open, find a place on the wall to focus on, or you may close your eyes, focus on your breathing, really imagine those good positive energies coming in with every inhale and negative energies coming out with every exhale. Remember not to lock your knees in this position. You will lose blood circulation and you might become lightheaded. Best thing to do is keep a very relaxed bend to the knees, which you can kind of see with mine. They are not bent incredibly and they're not super straight. They are a comfortably relaxed bend. Really feel all that weight just pushing towards the bottom of your feet. All the energy from the top of your head to the bottom of your toes. To increase the blood circulation in your upper body, you can breathe in and bring those arms up and overhead, just like we did in the beginning of sun salutation. Lifting the ribcage up off the diaphragm, and as you exhale, relax, bringing those arms all the way down to your sides. very possible that the increase in oxygen that you are giving your body may cause you to yawn, and that's okay. Yoga can be very relaxing and might make you feel like you're very tired, but I guarantee you when you get done with your yoga practice, you will have increased energy throughout the day, better blood circulation, and an overall great energy for the rest of your day, because you're taking this time for yourself, which so little of us do anymore. So the last few things that we're going to do before we stop is we're going to come back down onto all fours into child's position. So knees a little bit wider than hip width apart, toes pointed, touching, not overlapping. You're going to breathe in, activate the core, and as you exhale, bring the butt down to the ankles all the way. But instead of bringing the torso all the way down to the floor this time, we're going to take our right hand and thread it under our left arm, twisting and laying down on our shoulder. You can use this arm mostly as support. You should feel a pretty good pull in your shoulder blade. As you inhale, again, activate the core. Use that stability arm to lift up and place back on the floor. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. So left hand threaded under the right. Laying down on that shoulder with your body weight, twisting at the midsection, using that right hand for support. As you inhale, activate the abs so that you're lifting with your abs and not your back. Use the right hand for support to lift up and place your hand on the floor. From here, you can go ahead and come back up into table. We're going to shift into a laying down pose called corpse. Now, at the end of each session, I like to do a meditation period where you can lay in a restorative position where your muscles can relax, restore themselves, rejuvenate, and you can focus on your spirit and your mind. During this time, I think it's very important that you close your eyes and you relax every part of your body. So I'm going to be working through some verbal cues with you, give you some guided imagery to allow you to fall deeper into your meditation. Another thing you can do, if you are uncomfortable laying on the ground or you have pains with that, if it is a lower back pain, you can take a towel and roll it up into a small jelly roll type looking towel and place it right below your lower back on the ground so that when you lay down, there's a slight curve in the lower back. What this does is take those really pinched vertebrae and release them from being pinched. So it separates them, allows that pain to be resolved, and you to have a good meditation process. If that is just too much and you feel uncomfortable with that, you may sit in lotus, which baby lotus is legs are not intertwined at all. You may put one leg on top if you're not quite to the flexibility stage of full lotus. This is another version of lotus that's a little bit easier, simpler. You can do that to either leg. Full lotus, however, is both legs intertwined on top of each other. You can kind of see how they are locked over one another's thighs, okay? So again, with this position, straight line, you want to make sure those hips are flat on the floor. You're not sitting to one side or the other because that's going to create a wobble in your spine that you do not want. So it is up to you as to what you feel more comfortable in while meditating. If you meditate often and you're used to being in this position, it's probably no problem for you. But if you are a beginner, it is definitely okay to bring the legs flat onto the floor. If you choose to do this meditation, you want to keep your hands at your knees. Very relaxed. You can use mudras if you like. I tend to, in this position, it helps me concentrate, really gets the energy flowing. Remember to keep that straight line, top of the head, bottom of the spine, and relax the arms and the shoulders down from the ears into the points of your knees. Remember to breathe. For those of you who are not doing this position, you may lay flat on the floor into what we call corpse position. This is simply laying flat with your hands, palms up at your side, legs stretched out in front of you, feet relaxed. You want to keep your head straight, back straight. Again, if you have lower back pain, you can put that towel right underneath your lower spine, right here. Okay? So, you extend the legs, palms up, and close the eyes. Really focus on that breathing. You want to breathe in and imagine that rib cage coming up off the floor. Every bit of your lungs expanded. And hold. And exhale, pushing that air all the way out of the ribs to where your stomach even puckers a little bit. It's almost like you're pushing all the air out. And again, breathing in, lifting the rib cage, pulling that stomach in, hold, and exhale, back down, pushing the stomach outward. This time when you breathe in, I want you to imagine that positive energy in your favorite color. Maybe it's red, maybe it's blue, maybe it's pink. But whatever your favorite color is, I want you to imagine it as an orb of energy. And when you breathe in, you're breathing in that energy. And it's going down through your nose, through your windpipe, into your lungs, and swirling around, killing all of the bad energy. Just absorbing all of that negative energy. And as you exhale, you're exhaling the bad energy, whatever that color might be. Take a color for positive and negative. The negative color should be a color you dislike. Maybe it's black, gray. It could also be red, whatever you choose. So inhale with that pretty color, positive energy, and then exhaling, pushing all of the negative energy out. While keeping that in mind, I want you to think about parts of your body that might feel stressed. You might be feeling pain, you might be feeling tension, you might be feeling worry. Whatever life has got you stressed out about, kind of find a place on your body where it's manifesting. Women tend to hold their tension in their shoulders or their back. Men tend to carry it in their hips or their legs or their chest. So just kind of pick wherever in your body feels like it has the most strain. And as you inhale, imagine that color coming in your lungs, swirling around, and then shooting out to those areas that are stressed. And just swirling around in that area, eating up all the negative, all the stress, all the tension, all the worry. And as you exhale, it's pulling it back up through the lungs and out the mouth. So we're going to do that again. You're going to breathe in, find that worry, stress, or tension, and exhale all that pain. Excuse me. Inhale. And exhale. Really feel your body melt into the floor with every exhale. I'll let you breathe on your own for a few seconds. As you take a deep breath in, I want you to wiggle your toes and your fingers. And exhale. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes and sit up slowly. Thank you so much for watching my video and going through this yoga session with me. It has been my utmost pleasure to teach you today, and I hope that you found something that you can take home with you and do on your own. It is very important for us to take care of our minds and our spirit and our bodies so that we may live a long and happy life. So thank you so much.